and welcome to Straight Talk Africa. I am Peter Clottey. Today I have the honor to celebrate the 20 years of Straight Talk Africa on air. Welcome to your show, Shaka.
All right, stand by. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa. I am Shaka Ssali.
Go to Zoe Leodaki, Straight Talk Africa's producer, who takes us on a brief journey down memory lane.
For 20 years, Shaka Ssali has been hosting Straight Talk Africa. The first show aired on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2000, and since then, it has covered major developments and trends on the African continent, analyzing socioeconomic realities and ramifications in a balanced and objective way, while providing a platform for the audience to interact with newsmakers.
Why should we believe what you are telling us? We talk about politics, health issues, elections. We talk about corruption.
We had very large audiences in Nigeria, Ethiopia, and there was a need for a program sort of along the lines of call-in shows in European countries and the United States, where people could ask questions, could get some context for what was in the news.
The idea for Straight Talk Africa television program was groundbreaking at the time. Until then, VOA African division shows were broadcast on radio, but this show was going to be aired on television, simulcast on radio, and include telephone callers from the continent.
Obama administration, go back the Clinton administration and the Bush administration. After 9/11, Africa is seen as a battleground, nothing more than that.
The host of the show, Shaka Ssali, had been at VOA for a number of years and had the reputation of being an excellent analyst of African issues. He insisted that he would not only interview newsmakers, but also give a voice to the voiceless.
We attempt to discuss issues, for example, that reflect the interests of the people. Each show is a new show as far as I'm concerned.
We have nurtured this tree and developed a program that develops intellectual curiosity of the continent and demystifies the stereotypes about Africa.
Shaka Ssali has interviewed many African leaders during his 2 decades helming the show, including former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who was also the first elected female head of state in Africa, Kenneth Kaunda, the first president of Zambia, and Lazarus Chakwera, the current president of Malawi.
I'm grateful because I believe, as I've been promoting a new dispensation of Pan-Africanism, Straight Talk Africa gave me some exposure.
I was in the airport in Kenya and someone came up to me to say, I know you, I saw you on Shaka show, and we love Shaka. So you recognize that people all over the world, they know him, they trust him, he is honest, he has integrity, he's seen as someone who can speak truth to power, and he's done so consistently for 2 decades.
VOA Straight Talk Africa has done exceedingly well to cover contemporary issues, political-economic issues, social-cultural issues that are taking place in Africa in a timely and fashionable manner.
Generations of Africans have grown up watching, listening, and interacting with Shaka and his guests. He provides a meaningful forum for the political truths taking place in their countries. Many fans talk about the Straight Talk Africa University that gives free lectures every week.
He has had a profound impact on me, and he's somebody that I grew up admiring, looking up to him. To me, he has been a great role model. His ability to inspire and have an impact on so many young people across Africa is remarkable.
In the 20 years Straight Talk Africa has been on air, it has produced over 1,000 shows and hosted over 100 guests per year. The program's topics range from politics and security to education, women's rights, environmental issues, civil society initiatives, to efforts to beat Ebola and COVID-19.
I met Shaka at the University of California, Los Angeles. Called me one day from New York, and he said, Hey, Greg, I'm interested in working at the Voice of America. It so happened I had just been chosen to head up the English to Africa service. I spoke with the division director. So Shaka came in, we had lunch, and after that lunch, the division director said to me, "We got to hire that guy."
The interesting thing about him was that unlike people like me and many, many others, he did not follow the way things were supposed to be. He, in many ways, was marching to his own beat. Shaka was always into the movies, and Shaka, of course, he quit school, high school, and joined the military. And this, our parents thought this was the worst thing a person could have done. And they, in fact, even warned us not to associate with him because he would be a bad influence. But of course, time has proved him right.
And what I like about Shaka the most, he's always has time for his fans, whether they're presidents, ministers, or just a plain shopkeeper. He treats everyone the same. So that's the great thing about Shaka.
Shaka is a gentleman and a scholar.
He was a very knowledgeable person, first and foremost.
Shaka likes in-depth conversations based on facts.
Being able to use leaders of many different countries that Shaka could pin down. A president could be seen anywhere in Africa. And when it comes to asking the tough questions, he's not afraid to do that.
Is that something that you could even remotely think about?
Our Constitution forbids it.
I thought I knew a lot about African politics and the nuances of it all, but Shaka, he knew it all.
Shaka uses facts, uses the historical context of a situation to get as close to the truth as possible.
We had the voices of everyone, the scholar, the politician, the NGO, and the most important voice, we were including the voice of the audience.
It wasn't.
I worked with David Brinkley. I worked with Ted Koppel on Nightline when it started. I worked with This Week at ABC when it started. Both with fantastic anchor persons and certainly the best in the business. But Shaka Ssali, on a par with those guys, and really heads above those guys at what he did. And it's largely, again, because there was an audience that wanted to hear what we...
I look at myself as a servant of nothing but the truth, a servant of issues, not a servant of personalities, not a servant of ideology, not a servant of politics. Thank you so much. Get better, not bitter, Africa. And please, please remember to keep the African hopes alive.